improved a lot, so you might hear me cleaning my throat or so, but don't just mind, okay? Hoping you would understand. This is Dinesh. We will be spending the next hour or so uh, talking about a lot about SQL, obviously, and we'll also I'll also take up questions or any doubts or any concerns that you have end of the session. So I'll give you adequate amount of time to do that. But before we start, let's just wait for a couple of more minutes just to give others some time to join in, and then we can go ahead and start. Right, so we are good to start. Let me start by briefly introducing myself as to um, who I am, what I have done in my uh, past experience, or how much years of experience do I have, and and also a little bit about the course, and then what we are going to talk about today. So let's start basically by me introducing myself. So I'm Dinesh, and I am basically from Odisha, but currently, due to my job assignment, I am in Bangalore. I'm based out of Bangalore now. So currently, I'm based out of Bangalore. I have 8 years of working experience into completely into SQL. Okay, I didn't start off as someone who I didn't start off as a SQL developer, to be honest. Uh, like everyone else, I graduated in the year 2013, right? 2013, early 2013, and then I uh, joined. Anish says audio is not good. See once. Is it the problem with everyone else or only Anish?
I think we're good, Dinesh. Everything is well.
All right, perfect. So, Anish, I think you might have some audio problems. So, if you can rejoin, that'd be really appreciated. Perfect. So, as I was saying, I joined in the year 2013 into the IT industry. And funny story, I joined as a .NET developer. Boom. I mean, surprise. But I knew that was not something that I was meant for. I did it for a good amount of not more than 2-3 months, and I knew, okay, this is not something that I want to pursue in the future. I mean, I did not get any interest out of it. I was not passionate about it. It was not fun for me, and I knew, yes, this is not going to work out. And then I got a lucky opportunity in my organization itself. It was a brand new project, and that project, they had already decided for a senior database developer, and they wanted someone who could support the senior database developer uh, in the regular database problem solving activities. And that is when I got this opportunity, wherein I started working as a database developer, and all my experience is on Microsoft SQL Server. But I'm going to talk about how Microsoft SQL Server also helps you in multiple different verticals. Okay. So yes, I mean, that is when I got an opportunity to start working on SQL Server development. Okay, because inside SQL Server we have multiple different components. Again, I started working on development, where I was into data modeling, basically designing databases, designing tables, and everything. Uh, and I mean, storing data into the databases, retrieving the data in different formats, in different I would say metrics and everything else. So basically, I was involved into modeling, that is designing a database, and also building it from scratch. Now, once I got a hold of that, I also got some exposure into database administration as well. As far as database administration was concerned, I started from very basics, but then again with the same project. So you this has happened to me a lot. Okay, there is a saying that says, I mean, the more you get hurt, the more you you say you face the heat, the more you learn. Okay, so as and when the data grows in a database. Uh, I have two questions, sorry, before I proceed. Thiparedi says, anyone is speaking? Let me just answer that real quick. Yes, Dinesh, here I am going to conduct this session, and I am speaking for the last 7 minutes. Udit asks, am I late? Have we started? Yes, we have just started. You haven't missed much. um, so yes, Udit, don't worry, you haven't missed anything at all. Right. So as I was saying, I mean, the saying, yes, it is being recorded for further viewing, so not to worry. All right. So as I was saying, I mean, when you face the heat, you get to learn stuff. So when the data volume started increasing, you had to work on optimizing the databases, optimizing the structure, optimizing places where you write queries, right? And that is where you learn tips and tricks about managing your databases. Okay, building databases, managing databases is completely different. That too, having administration skills is completely different. Now, over a period of time, I learned that in that same project, and then I slowly self-learned MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence. That is something that I'm going to talk about in brief at a later point in time. Now, in Microsoft Intelligence, I mastered SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services, SQL Server Reporting Services. But yes, something that I haven't covered or haven't worked on till now is SSAS. It could be shortage of time on my front, or not having the need to do that is also a factor that comes in. But anyways, I mean, I learned SSIS and SSRS on my own, and then slowly moved into a role wherein I'm now managing a team on Microsoft Business Intelligence and SQL, with around 20 people working across Europe and India, and that is where I am career-wise. And this team that I have with me now, I mean, I'm talking about my professional career. This team that I have with me now consists, as I said, of like 20 people, and out of that, I was involved in hiring at least 15 of them, okay, if not more. The current team that I have, because the other four except me were there in the team, but the whole team, I would say majorly, I have interviewed and onboarded them into the project. So that gives me some level of understanding or some level of expertise on how interviews are conducted, on how teams are built, or what I see in an individual when I do interviews. Okay, so it is not easy. Okay, I mean, and just to be very honest with you, it's not going to be easy. uh when is it going to be easy? There's only, I mean, one thing that you can do that is going to make your life easier if you want to continue with SQL is practice. Okay, with SQL you need to practice a lot. Okay, it doesn't change like .NET, it doesn't change as much like Java, but still you need to know where you have to place what query to get the right amount of data, right? So I would say the only thing that is going to make you good at your interviews is practice. The more you practice, the more confident you become, and the better you do at interviews. But again, I'm going to also talk about the technical aspects. I'll walk you through how I did it. Okay, again, I'm not going to talk about anyone else's experience. I'm going to just share what I do when I conduct interviews, what I look out for an individual, and what I have to see in an individual to be able to be satisfied enough that yes, I am okay to get this person into my team. Because the reason, the one thing that you need to remember, okay, if someone is uh, rejecting you or someone is saying that you are not capable, it is not that you are bad always. Okay, and I represent not only myself but the entire community who interviews. Okay, this is a very true fact that needs to be told and that people need to know. Okay, if you are rejected, okay, to be very honest, I haven't attended many interviews. I till now in my 8 years of experience, I must have attended maximum 4 interviews. Okay, trust me on that. I have changed only one company. I have attended 4 interviews, that's it. Okay, and I'm including the one that I gave when I was a fresher. Okay, so that is all that I've attended. So I am not good at I mean, I might not have much experience giving interviews, but I have been on the other side, in which I can tell you what I actually see in people. Okay, and the one thing that I want to put out in front of you guys, okay, you go with SQL, you go with .NET, you go with Java, doesn't matter. One thing you need to know when you move into when you go into an interview and come out rejected, just don't put yourself down. Just don't think that it's your fault. Okay, it is not your fault all the time. I would say, to be honest, 80% of the interviews it is not your fault. One, okay, uh, I'll say what I think. Okay, when I choose someone, what are my points of evaluating a guy? Sometimes you might be good at, let's say, MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence, but I'm looking for someone who has expertise on SQL and Microsoft Business Intelligence. Now, you might be good at Microsoft Business Intelligence, right? But I know in the future I might also have some SQL work, right? And I might have thought that it is you. I wanted you to drive that initiative. Now, if you don't have much exposure on SQL, there is no way you could drive that initiative, right? So that is one of the reasons that I might not hire you. It's not that you're not good. It's just that you don't have enough expertise to drive a subject, to initiate a subject. And that needs expertise, okay? That needs a lot of effort. That needs a lot of learning on your part to reach that level. That is one thing, okay? It's not your fault again. It's the demand of the project. Not all positions that I'm hiring experts for. I've learned this from one of my senior managers. You cannot run a team if you're only looking for superstars, and that's a fact. Okay. The second thing is you might not fit in. Okay, as simple as that. I mean, I might be looking for someone who is okay at SQL, but communication wise he's not good. I mean, communication wise he needs to be good, because I work in a project which is mostly customer facing. Okay, so I cannot put someone who is great at SQL, because he must be a tech savvy guy, but he might not have been in business uh, uh, confrontation systems or setups where he or she has worked mostly with the business. So that is another factor, right? So sometimes you lack the skills, sometimes you have lesser skills, right? And sometimes, okay, and this is majority of my fear, okay, this is not your this is not something that you are lacking, but this is my insecurity. Sometimes I don't want, let's say I am driving a team, okay, I don't want someone who comes into my team and I take a let's say an experienced vet saying, okay, this guy is going to deliver for me. Okay, I have that 90% confidence, but there is the 10% insecurity inside me. What if this guy doesn't perform? Okay, so at interviews, it is not your technical skills that matter. Okay, it is how you drive your interview that matters. If you make someone believe that you are the guy, trust me, if you are 50% good technically, you will make through an interview. Okay, and that is something that I've seen. Okay, that is something that I've seen in my friends. I haven't attended many interviews in, as I said, but I've seen it in my friends, I've seen it in people who do that. And with freshers, it gets a lot easier. The reason being, you are now evaluated only on your confidence, only on your body language, only on your uh, I would say your mindset, right? So it gets a lot interesting, it gets a lot uh, uh, challenging when you're a fresher. Okay, but when you are an experienced person, the game changes completely. Okay, now you might not be evaluated on SQL. Let's say you are an experienced person in the IT industry, but you don't have enough exposure on SQL. Okay, then you might be evaluated based on how you solve your problems, right? How you approach a problem. Not in the specific order, right? Because how you approach your problem is more important for me, because I cannot clearly expect you to know SQL. And that is one factor to interviewing as well. You not only the interviews, okay, if you go to a place where they are interviewing the freshers similar to how they are interviewing experienced candidates, walk out of there. As simple as that. Okay, no one can have the same interviewing skills or same interview process for both freshers and experienced people. They are completely different set of people with different mindsets and with different aspects to their own I would say I mean that is how much they know about life. That also is a factor in interviews. Okay, so you do not have to put yourself down always saying that you are bad at it. Sometimes you're not. Okay, and in fact, to be very honest, most of the times you're not. It is the insecurity of the interviewer, it might be the insecurity of the organization, it might be the risk they might not be willing to take. Because I was, to be honest with you, I went the three interviews that I gave, I told I gave four interviews, right? The three interviews that I gave was when I was planning to make my first switch. And the first interview which I gave, I was around 4.5 years experience, had a lot to learn. That I'm very honest about, and I still believe that I have still a lot to learn. Okay, and what I liked about the current role that I am in right now is the belief that they showed in me. And now, if I am asked to put in extra effort, if I'm asked to put in extra hours, I don't mind, because I was bestowed with that much amount of uh, confidence in the initial stage, right? So all of these matters. And again, interview is not a one-way road. Okay, it's always a two-way road. it, you get an interview, you crack an interview, that doesn't mean you have to join there. Okay, you need to like that role. Okay, 70 to 80% of people don't succeed in the IT industry or in whatever field they are in, roles they are in currently is because of this reason. They just do it because they have to do it. They don't do it because they want to do it. There's a difference in it. Okay, there's a difference between these two lines. Okay, you are doing it because you have to do it, and you are doing it because you want to do it, right? So you need to understand these two differences, and the day you understand these two differences, I know you're going to face a few bit of challenges, okay, but the place that you will end up at is going to be where you are supposed to be, okay, and that is where your career graph is going to shoot up vertically, upwards, obviously, right? Anyways, I mean, I can talk about it a lot because, as I said, I mean, the 15 people that I hired, trust me, I had to hire like 7 in Europe and 8 in India. And to build this team, I must have interviewed at least, okay, if I'm not exaggerating, if I'm not like throwing in random numbers, I would say somewhere between uh, 85 to 125, maybe. Okay, my manager was like pissed. My HR team was pissed. They wanted people, they wanted names, finalized names, and I had nothing. And it was not because they were not technically good. Okay, it was because I didn't see that spark in them. That's the only reason. Okay, you ask 4 questions to someone, okay, and by the fifth question they're frustrated. And you know why? It is because they couldn't answer the first two. They knew the next three very well. But the only reason they were frustrated by the fifth question is that they were still carrying the burden of not answering the first two questions, right? So when it comes to interview, it is exactly like life. Okay, in life you take one day at a time, right? If you think about the earlier day or the past 2 days, what happened with you, you're never going to do well in the third day if the last 2 days haven't gone well. The same is with interviews. If you keep thinking about the last questions or the last queries that you didn't work well on, you are never going to do well the rest of your interview. So make sure you don't carry that burden, okay? Now, spoken enough, let me just go through the questions tab, and then we'll just quickly go through some of the SQL questions that might be asked, okay? And then I'll open it up for questions. And I'll also, after I walk you through some SQL questions, I'll also walk you through um, how can you grow after you learn SQL, right? So to start off with, Anisha, who has already left, man, those are a lot of questions, but I'm sad she's not there in the session anymore. Anisha asks, who is this session meant for? Freshers who have studied software engineering. This course has been curated well enough. I mean, we have evolved this over a period of time, and I'm very happy with where it has reached right now, because now this course is for everyone. Okay, earlier it could be for someone who only has IT knowledge, or someone who already has basic SQL knowledge, but we wanted to build a course which is a one place stop for everyone. Okay, and I'm glad that we have reached here wherein we can say that anyone who comes in will make sure that end of the course you are good at SQL. All right, so hoping that answers Anisha's question. uh doo-doo-doo. Okay, will this be okay? Let's start. But why are we losing your places? Let me just see if there are any more questions. Da-da-da. Oh, this says, Dinesh, your life experiences are awesome. I'm amazed. Trust me or not, I was at a situation when I was at, I think 3 years experienced. I got called by my associate director, and he showed me an email where the on-site team wanted to have me fired. Right? So yeah, I mean, as I said, Uh, I have learned SQL, and this session is very informative so far. Thank you. You're welcome. Hello, how do I upgrade myself and get a job? I have 9 years career break. I used to work on SSIS, SSRS as a SQL DBA. I'm in UK. Lakshmi, I have met a lot of people over this course who have been on a break for quite a while, and I think they have picked up well because if you already know about it, it's just that it's already there in your mind somewhere. You just have to connect the dots and you should be up and running. So yes, I would say extensive SQL course or MSPI architect course might help you well in securing a job, because I would say more than before you get into this is one problem that I have seen amongst people who are trying to get into SQL, is that they just want to get a job, right? I mean, they're not prepared. They don't wait till they finish their preparation before they I would say go to interviews, and that makes them lose a lot of confidence, because they feel that how much ever preparation they do, it is always less. So what I would suggest is, make sure you brush up your skills, take an extensive SQL course, or learn it from wherever you wish to. Okay, again, you having experience already is going to definitely help you learning it faster. Now, irrespective of wherever you learn from, practice a little bit and then go to interviews, and you will see the difference in yourself. And yes, 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, I've worked with a lot of people. They are well settled now with jobs, and I would say yes, I mean, you're no different. So you don't have to upgrade yourself, you just have to practice a little bit. That's it. That's the only thing lacking. uh you're welcome. Udit says sarcasm. I don't know in what context, but I hope I don't know in what context. I'll just wait for your message. Uh, do you help in preparing resume? No, I don't. I'm very bad at resume preparation. But if you prepare a resume, I can tell you what is wrong in that. Okay. Uh, One thing that you need to remember during interviews is, don't boast in your resume. If you are a 10, always rate yourself a 7. Okay. The reason why I say this is my mode of interviewing, and I've seen this change over a period of time, and it's changed for the good. Okay. And the change that I've seen is, earlier it was more of a set of questions that people had in mind, or that interviewers had in mind, that they wanted to ask. But now what they do is, instead of driving the interview like how they want to, they drive it based on what you already know about. That means what you already have on your resume, right? So yes, make sure you put uh, only relevant topics, um, or any relevant technical skills that you have worked on, okay, that you have relevant working experience on. Because if you put something outside of it, it is going to be a little it's not going to be good during the interview. Okay, because they're definitely going to drill you on that aspect. But yes, I mean, to answer your question, no, resume is not prepared. Maheshwar says confidence in speaking lacking in interview. If you're asking about how you gain confidence during interviews, is again, as I said, see, I said I evaluate people 80% on the technical skills, 20% on how they communicate, how their body language is, how much how much confident they are. But trust me on this, okay? You can only be confident. Your body language can be good only if you know stuff. Okay, let's say you are interviewing for SQL. Okay, you cannot just win a job, or you cannot just score a job by just being confident. Okay, that is nothing but overconfidence, right? So you can only build confidence, trust me, Maheshwar, on this, by learning that technology. So if you're going on SQL, if you are planning to make a switch on SQL, make sure you practice it hard enough. Make sure you practice it enough to be good at what you're doing. Okay, I'm not saying the best at what you're doing, good at what you're doing. And then you will see the confidence automatically coming to you. And if you talk about communicating in English or communicating with colleagues or communicating during an interview, this was taught in school. Okay, I mean, I am from an English medium school, but trust me, the amount of or the level of English that I finished my schooling was very much equivalent to someone who was who passed out from a regional school. Okay, that is how bad. I mean, I was pathetic. I was at the bottom, I would say. Okay, worse than people who were from regional schools also. I mean, they were good in English than me. The one thing that made me learn or communicate well in English is by communicating in English. Okay, I know it sounds weird, but in school, if you have noticed, I mean, when you have your English classes, your teacher always say, talk to your friends in English. Okay, and that seriously does wonders. Okay, I mean, if you talk more in English, if you converse more in English, the better you get at it. The more you converse, the better you get at it. So talk to friends, talk to family, talk to I don't know, whomever you can in English, so that you get better at it. And this has worked for me at least. Do you have SQL developers courses with respect to SSIS and RS? Yes, you have the MSBI course, which will help you on that. In the MSBI architect course, I guess, you will be, we will try to cover SQL for you. We'll try to cover SSIS, and we'll try to cover SSRS. And I think there are other topics as well, like Tableau, Power BI. But again, you will have to speak to the marketing team to understand more about it. Lakshmi says, thank you. You're very welcome. Guys, you might not see all the questions that I'm reading out, but yes, I'm able to see all of them. So I'm just trying to answer them one by one. Uh, Hello, Mr. Dinesh. I'm having work experience on Oracle, SQL, PL SQL, but a lot of jobs on Microsoft SQL Server. See a lot of jobs on Microsoft SQL Server. What can I say? I mean, Microsoft SQL Server is in demand. Okay, but I mean, that's a fact. Okay, I mean, micro SQL Server is taking a lot of market these days. I mean, it's expanding its market vigorously because the one good thing that I see with the SQL Server license is that it gives the MSBI tool packaged together complementary. That means every time a company buys a SQL Server license, they get a complete BI package complimentary, and it is quite extensive. Okay, if you think about, or if you learn more about the MSBI components that comes with SQL Enterprise license, you will observe that it is very, very extensive. And when you buy Oracle, you just get the database engine. Okay, and everything else you will have to pay for it, like having a SSIS kind of a tool, or having a SSRS kind of a tool, or any other tool that you have to buy from other companies. It's going to cost you a bomb. So I think that is what drives a lot of companies into SQL Server these days. But again, if you have experience on Oracle, SQL, or PS SQL, it shouldn't be that difficult for you to understand and grasp SQL Server as well. Harshit asks, can you please suggest practice platform for SQL Server Management Studio? I know it sounds weird, but again, I used to use Code Academy earlier, but now it has been now it is a paid website. But earlier it was free of cost. I think 4 or 5 years back, when I was doing a lot of practice on Python, R, and SQL, I used to use Code Academy. But back in those days, it was a free platform where you can enroll, and it gives you an IDE It gives you a platform to code there and see the results there itself. But again, now it is paid, as I said. So if you want to practice SQL, I would say install the SQL Server tools that are needed, like the Management Studio and the SQL Server. I can just put it in here. Okay, for everyone, you can install the SQL Server 2019 and the SQL Server Management Studio. You can always Google them to know more about these. Or if you take the course, obviously you will get to learn everything. And then on these, you can, if you want to practice, if you want some practice data, you can download and restore the AdventureWorks database. And I'm sending it through. I'm sorry. What course will you suggest for non-IT background to get a job in IT field in US? I would say again, SQL and MSBI is in huge demand. I have a lot of my own clients in the US, and they're doing pretty well with SQL and MSBI. I usually train. I have batches running in the US and with Intellipaat, and I'd say each of the US batches have around 20 people at least. So 2 batches in the US, 40 people, and with Intellipaat another 20. So around 50 to 60 people a month I train, and it's all on SQL and MSBI, and the market is good. Or else, I mean, I wouldn't have got that much of enrollments. So it's pretty much a good number. I cannot talk on behalf of the other technologies because I have no experience in those. But yes, as far as SQL and MSBI is concerned, it's going pretty well, to be honest. Kindly tell how could I move to SQL Server? I think I've already answered that. Do you know anyone or any company who can help with resume preparation? You have a lot of tools online. I don't know if there are any companies or anything that are that work extensively or only on resume preparation. But yeah, I mean, I'm afraid I might not be able to answer that question. Hi, this is from Ganesh. Hi, I have done MCA in 2014, but I did not get a job in IT sector. Hence, I worked in back office for 4 years, but now I left back office and recently I done SQL course and strongly looking for in SQL, and for that I'm preparing Oracle certification. You can go for Oracle certification. You could go for SQL certification, but talking about the verticals that you can move in, that brings me to my other topic. What all verticals can you move in from SQL? SQL is something that fits anywhere, okay, wherever data is involved. You talk about Power BI, you talk about Tableau, you talk about Teradata, talk about Oracle, talk about SQL Server, right? Teradata, Oracle, SQL Server, I support a lot of clients on these 3 platforms, and the programming language is almost the same. Okay, at least the basic programming queries are almost the same. So if you are planning to move into any of these fields, okay, including MSBI or database administration, I would say having good knowledge on SQL or having SQL certifications is going to help you a lot. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, see, if you ask someone who works on Java, they'll say do Java certifications. If you ask someone to do someone who is working on .NET, they'll ask you to do .NET certifications. So I would say take some time to decide which one you want to go with. But I would say SQL might be a better option, okay, because there are a lot of demand of SQL Server recently in the market, and I find it I find it a little more diligent to invest into SQL certifications than into Oracle certifications. Again, that is my point of view. But yes, it's up to you to decide. Will Oracle certification help me to get the job? I think I already answered that question. Lakshmi asks, is Azure the cloud version of SQL Server? Do you suggest take up a course on Azure Cloud? Sorry if my questions sound immature. No, it's all right. Azure is not the cloud version of only SQL, but Azure is like a cloud platform. You can host SQL servers, you can host Windows servers, you can host your web services, applications, and whatnot. Even storage disks, you can create storages there. So it's like um so whatever you can place on premise now in the company, like hard disks, servers, desktops, monitors, CPUs, everything, you can host it there. Okay, so Azure is like it's not only related to SQL, but yes, SQL is a part of Azure as well. You can host your SQL server on Azure. How to get entry level job in IT sector in SQL? I think I have already answered a similar question to that. Uh, JD asks, are there resources you have used aside from friends and family that have helped with learning English? Yes, I remember a guy, okay, who was in my company, the first team that I worked with, okay, when I was working with .NET, I had the opportunity to meet this guy, a pretty charming guy, but the only problem was you tell a wrong sentence, okay, you frame a wrong sentence in English, and he'll make your life miserable. Find those kind of people. They must be rude, okay, on your face, but they'll make you learn a lot better. But again, jokes apart, I would say I learned it from my company. Okay, I haven't learned it till I graduated. I was not even able to frame a couple of sentences in a go after I graduated. But I would say the me working closely with managers and business have given me a lot of exposure to learn it. Okay, so whatever I've learned it in my work experience itself. Please give some questions. Yes, sure. I'm working into that right now. Uh, Srinivas, if you're talking about BI, sorry, SSRS or Power BI, I would say mm, go with Power BI. Okay, but it wouldn't hurt to have SSRS knowledge as well. I'm going to take the rest of the questions a little later. Let me just take you guys into a bit of technical questions here. Okay, so let's spend the next half an hour discussing about a few technical questions, and then we go back to your questions again. Okay, I'll see how much I can answer, and then we'll wind up the session. Just a moment. All right. So the first question, okay, I mean, which most of the people don't care about is how do you actually know if SQL Server is installed on your system or not? Okay, let's say I give you my laptop, or I give you a system. How do you tell me, or how do you confirm if there is SQL Server installed in it or not? Now, any software that we install in our laptop or in our system, it usually have a set of services that is installed uh, by default. Okay, and when the same happens when we install it for when we install SQL Server as well. Okay, and where can you find the services? You can find it in services.msc. Okay, in services.msc, when you open it, this is what you would see. And let me just hide this one. And in here, if you search for SQL, okay, you will find the list of services here. So if SQL Server is installed in a system, you will find a list of SQL Server services here. Okay, now if you find the SQL Server service here, then you can be sure enough that SQL Server is installed in your system. If there is no SQL Server service, then you know that there is no SQL Server installed. Okay, that is a very easy way to find out if SQL Server is installed or not. Now, what is the role of the agent here, the SQL Server agent? Right? You might be asked this question. Okay, anyone here knows about the SQL Server agent? Yeah, there you go. Udit is smartest. So thank you, Udit. So yes, if you, let's say, want to perform a task which is uh, at an odd time of the day, let's say it's on a Sunday afternoon, let's say it is in the middle of the night when you might not be available in front of the system, and you're expected to perform something on your database. Okay, perform a task on your database. That is when the agent helps you in scheduling your jobs, right? So you can schedule you can create a SQL task and schedule it at a particular time for it to run, right? So is the responsibility of the SQL Server agent service to pick up the task and run it at the specified time. If you want, you can also set it up on a recursive interval as well. Now, what are the different types of files that are created when we create a database? Okay, there are two files that are created internally when we create a database. One is the MDF file, which is the master data file, and the LDF file, which is the log data file. Okay, Udit asked how to check specific name of instance. Now, if you want to check the name of the instance from the service, you will, if it is suppose it's not the default, yes, so if it is the default instance, Udit, you will not see the bracket and the name inside. Okay, the default will just have SQL Server in it. Okay, but if it is a named instance, that means you have given a name during installation, then it will appear in the bracket. So if you are looking for a named instance, you can clearly identify it from the name in the bracket. For defaults, you will not find any name beside the SQL Server service. Hoping that answers your question. So yeah, coming back to what we were discussing earlier, in database, when we create a database in SQL, uh, we have two files, MDF and the LDF. MDF stands for master data file, and LDF stands for the log data file. Now, master data file is responsible to hold all the data that we have, that we store in the database, right? Obviously, in an encrypted format, you cannot open either of these files in the text format or any other tools that are available handy with us. Okay, you need you I mean, it is only understandable and accessible by SQL Server. Okay, so MDF is responsible to hold all the data in an encrypted format. LDF is responsible to hold all the logs. Logs of what? Logs of the changes that has been done on the data. Let's say we have updated a data row. Let's say we have deleted a data row. Everything is being logged in the LDF. Okay, so it's a log data file, it's a master data file. So every database that you create will have one MDF and one LDF. Udit has a follow-up question. For default, that is not the same name as server. If you're talking about how do you connect, so when you click on connect without SSMS, find the name of the instance. Yeah, as I said, you can go to your list of services, and in here you will find the name of the instance right beside the SQL Server service. Okay, this is not SSMS or anything. This is a services application that you have on your Windows, and you can find all the instances that are installed. So every instance of SQL Server that you have, let's say you have 3 instances of SQL Server installed, you will find 3 SQL Server services here. It is not one for all the instances. sometimes the only instance is not the same name as server. Yeah, exactly, and that is a named instance. Now, if you want to connect to a default instance, you give your system name or your laptop name. Okay, like for example, in here, when you want to connect, let's say, when you want to connect, if it is a default instance, you would only give your laptop name and it would automatically connect to the default instance of SQL Server. Okay, but if you want to connect to a named instance, you have to provide your laptop name slash the instance name. You see this instance name? This instance name is nothing but the one that you see here. Okay, so if I had, let's say, one more instance which is SQL Server 2017, switching it here will help me connect to either of the instances based on your need. Okay. Moving on. You're welcome, Adit. Moving on. All right. What's the use of schema in SQL Server? Right. Schemas in SQL Server are usually meant to logically partition your database. Like for example, uh, if I take the example of Amazon, right? Amazon has multiple different business units, right? For example, it has food department, I mean food business unit. It sells clothing items, it sells electronics items. Now each of these business lines have their own set of employees, products, sales, and everything else, right? So how can you split it? Like, let's say you don't want to have it in the same table. You want to manage it differently. You want to similarly allow the access of different users differently. So in that case, you can always create schemas and then create a table in each of the schemas. Like say you can create a food employee, you can create an employee in the clothing department, you can create an employee for the electronics department. Sorry. And the details that you will store here will only be the employees working in the electronics department. All the employees that you will store here in the clothing.employee will be a part of the clothing department and so on. So this is a way in which we logically partition our database to suit our business line. Yugandhar asks, do we need to have knowledge on all the services like SSIS, reporting, data model? As I said, no. To start off, no need to have everything knowledge on everything. Just start with plain SQL and then slowly move forward to acquire more and more knowledge. Okay. There is another important question that is frequently asked, which is on joins. All right. Da-da, tables. No, one moment. So let me hide this one. Don't need this. Oh. Hmm. Let me close this. Yeah. So one more thing that is asked quite a lot is how do you identify? Let's say we have two tables. One is the employee table, okay, and another one which is the employee date of birth table, right? And sometimes you might be asked to do a comparison to find out the data that is present in the employee table but missing on the employee date of birth table, or data that is present in the employee date of birth but missing in the employee table, vice versa, right? So this is a kind of comparison that you might be asked a lot to do. So what is the easiest way to do it is by using joins. Okay, you can easily use a left outer join. Now obviously due to time constraint I cannot go in detail regarding each of the questions, but this is just to give you a hint about how you go about solving complicated problems. Now you can use a left outer join, okay, on both the tables. Okay, for your information, the left outer join will give us all the data from the left table and only matching data from the right table. Okay, so if I run this, let me try to connect to my database, and let's try to connect here. And if I run this query, you will notice that it gives me all the data from the left table, which is the employee table, and only matching data from the right table. Okay, now you see there are two null records here, two records that shows up as null. The reason why it shows up as null is because how the left join is designed. Okay, the property of a left join is to give all the data from the employee table and only the matching data from the employee date of birth. Now, if you want to find out the employees which do not have a date of birth, again, from your naked eyes, you can tell that, okay, these two are the records that do not have the date of birth. But how do you find out when you have thousands of records, right? A very simple filter will help you do that. You just say where, so you already know about joins, you put a where here saying edob.employee date of birth is null. That means the employee date of birth tables doesn't have the date of birth. And if you run this, you will get these two records, right? So you know that, okay, for employee ID 3 and 4, which is Santosh and Steve, we do not have the date of birth in the date of birth table. One more trick thing here, which was asked by, again, one of the directors of, I think when I was very new, to one of my friends. He asked, how do you compare nulls in a database? Interesting thing, as it turns out, you cannot perform arithmetic operations on null values. You cannot do equal to, greater than, less than, nothing works. Okay, so if you want to get all the null records, you need to say is null. You cannot say equal to null, right? For example, see, if I do a equal to null here, you will never get any record. Although we have null records, you will never get them because we because nulls are not comparable. All right, and that's it. And if someone asks you, how do you do the other way around? That means, how do you find out all the data or all the employees which have a date of birth but they don't exist? So you just flip your tables, right? For now, we are taking all from the employee and getting the matching from the date of birth, right? So when you have to do the other way around, you just flip the tables. That is, get this table here, all right, and get this one here. That's it. And if you run this now, you will see that we are getting all the data from the left table, which is the date of birth, and only the matching data from the right table, which is the employee table. And if I want to find out who are those employees for which we have a date of birth, but their details don't exist, obviously it's going to be 8, 9, and 10, right? Because see, there's no employee data. So here again, the easy way to do it is you just say where emp.employee ID is null. And if I run this, it's going to give me these three records, which have a date of birth, but obviously the details don't exist. Okay. That's it on the joins. Let me see what else I can think of. Yes, I have one more thing, which is a very interesting one. A lot of questions are asked about how you. Where did it go? Where did it go? One moment. I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh yes, here it is. Ranking function. Okay. You might be asked a few questions on how do you get the fourth highest salary, the fifth highest salary, the sixth highest salary, and so on, right? Getting the first highest salary is usually easy. Okay, now for that, I'm going to use a table which is called the ranking table. Let me just connect, and let me connect to one of the database. Oh, this is a new database. I don't think I'll have enough here. Okay, so I'm going to use the ranking table, and what it has is it has a couple of countries right? A and P, and their respective cities and the population in each of the cities, right? So how do you get the sum of the total, I mean, the total population? You just say select sum of population from the ranking table. Okay, and this gives you the total population from the whole table, right? Now if you're asked to get the third highest or the fourth highest, okay, how do you get it is you use one of the ranking functions. Now what the ranking function does is the ranking function will help you rank your data from the ranking table. Obviously this is the example that I was using, right? From the ranking table I am ranking the data, partitioning it by country. That means rank each country separately and order it by population in descending order. This is one thing that you will love about SQL when you start learning it, is the level of English friendly commands that it has. Okay, it's very simple. It's as if you are talking to a system. Okay, I mean, and the errors that you get are also so well defined that you exactly know where your error is. Okay, so again, when you read and practice more on it, the better you will get at it and the better you will understand as well. But again, coming back to what we were discussing, so this particular command will help me get all the data from the ranking table. You see the star here, and then I'm trying to rank the data, partition by the country. As I said, for each country it will generate a different set of rank values, and order by the population in descending order. That means highest population stays on the top, and then it keeps uh, the population in decreasing order. Okay, so when I run it, let's see what happens. Let me run this one, the dense rank. Okay, and if you notice here, see, for A we have a separate set of ranks, 1 2 3 4, and for B it again starts from 1, right? So if you see here, we have, for the same value we have the same rank, and the second one is 2, the third highest is 3, the fourth highest is 4. So this way it goes from increasing to decreasing order of population, and the same happens for B. Now this is done differently for different countries because of the partition by. Now if I remove the partition by clause from here, okay, it'll order all of the records as is. See, it now orders all of them as is. You see, so it, irrespective of the country, it just orders all of them. So the partition by is the one that helps SQL understand that we have to partition it based on the country. Okay, I mean, you will get questions like these which are very easy, but again, you need to practice them so that you become good at it. Let me see the. Does SQL DBA have to be expert in SQL coding? Lakshmi, that's a very good question that is being asked by a lot of people. I was in a conference in Europe before COVID, I would say last December to be specific. And what was very interesting was this topic. Okay, we had a lot of DBAs there who were complaining that developers don't understand the pain of administrators, and administrators on the other hand, I mean, developers were complaining that administrators on the other hand were not understanding the pain of the developers. I would say, this is my personal opinion, what I feel is, as a developer I need to have basic administration skills. As a DBA you need to have basic SQL development skills, because if you don't, then SQL experienced SQL developer should have basic DBA skills, and DBA should have basic development skills. Because if you don't, then you don't understand the pain, because DBA and DB development goes hand in hand, and if you don't know it, get to you tend to get into a soup at some point on the other. Ramakrishna asks, Dinesh, can we ask any DBA related question or is it only for SQL queries? Again, this is just a starting point. You can go wherever you want. But again, due to shortage of time, this was to cover overall on everything: how to crack interviews, what someone looks at you, looks into you when they're looking, when they're interviewing you, and everything else. So it'll be very difficult to cover everything in this session. But yes, I mean, if you have any specific questions that I can answer, as I said, I have basic administration skills. I am not an expert on log shipping or mirroring or any of those expert DBA stuff. But if I can, I'll try to answer Ramakrishna if you can just put your question across. Udit says, tell some questions in admin, please. Again, I haven't interviewed much people on admin skills, but again, it will involve a lot of SQL development questions. Again, on the admin, you might be asked one of my favorite questions when I'm trying to get someone who is good on development, because I always whenever I want to hire someone, I always see to the fact that they have at least basic administration skills. And one of the very one thing that is a priority for me in the administration section is someone's knowledge on backup and recovery, because that is something that I feel is very, very important. So one really interesting question that I always come across is that I tend to ask people is, how do you restore your database to a particular point in time? Let's say you have a database which had corrupted. I mean, you have the data corrupted at 10 a.m. in the morning, let's suppose, right? Now, uh, one moment, guys, just give me a moment. Okay, guys. So, yeah, so let's say your data got corrupted at 10 a.m. in the morning, and let's say you want to get to the nearest time possible restore. Okay, I mean, you want to get your database to as recent time as possible. The only way you can do it is by using uh, using the backups that you have. So there are three types of backups. One is a full backup. I don't think I'll have enough time to explain all these three, but you need to restore in this sequence. Okay, tlog backup 1, tlog backup 2, 3. Okay, so this is the sequence in which you need to restore. So the full backup, let's say your database got corrupted on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay, now if you want to restore, let's say you take a full backup every Sunday, because obviously taking it every day is again, you need I mean, you don't know how it might impact your users. So let's say we take the full backup on Sunday, right? So when we restore this full backup, we'll only get our database up to Sunday. Now, diff backup is something that we take every day, right? So when you take a diff backup on Monday, it'll have the backup from Sunday till Monday. If you take it on Tuesday, it'll have the data from Sunday till Tuesday. If you take it on Wednesday, it'll have from Sunday till Wednesday, right? So what you have to do is you have to restore only one diff backup, which is the Wednesday diff backup, because this will have data from Sunday till Wednesday. So where are you at right now? Let's say it is taken at 12 a.m. in the midnight. That means you have reached at Wednesday 12 a.m., right? So first you do the full backup, then the diff backup, and then let's say you take a backup every tlog backup every 2 hours. So you should have one on Wednesday 2 a.m., one at, let's say, 4 a.m. You get the point, right? And so on. you have till 8 a.m. and this one will be the 10 a.m. backup. But let's say the data got corrupted at 10:10, for example. So you can restore it till here. So the maximum extent possible that you can reach up to is till what level your T-log backups are there, because this is the granularist level of the backup that you can take. Okay. Uh, that is one of my favorite questions. Always unavailable. Ramkrishna, I'm afraid I cannot answer that. First, I haven't worked on it much. Second of all, I mean, scarcity of time. But yeah, I mean, I haven't worked much on it either. Uh, I'm basically a Sybase DBA, but going to work on SQL Server soon. All the best. I have never worked on Sybase, but I mean, having experience on data gives you that extra bit of advantage of understanding data more, because see, sometimes when you want to write a query, before you write a query, you would want to visualize the data in your tables, and this experience helps you a lot. Okay, and this is where I feel you are ahead. Okay, so make sure you use that experience of data analysis or of understanding of the data, get it into SQL, and you will see that it really helps. Okay, so once you understand, once you start reading about it, maybe you will figure out the similarities. uh, Parimal says, I know you don't have time for attending all questions. Doing now, thank you very much for your insights. You're welcome, JD. Please try answer and help me out. No problem. Things. I'm an admin. What technology should I pursue for UK? For UK, you mean? Okay, I'll skip that question. Udit, can you give me more insights on that? Canada. Oh, okay. You want to move to Canada? Uh, I would say demand and supply, buddy. I mean, you need to you need to be at the right time at the right place. Okay. As I said, if there is an opening in SQL development, obviously it'll help if you are good at development. If there is an opening on administration, it'll help if you are good at administration. What I would suggest is take something, master at it, and then look for roles in that. Okay, so yes, I would not say keeping a location in mind you prepare, but prepare and then try to look for roles similar to that in a location. Okay, that will really help. Is SQL architect equals to SQL developer? No. SQL architects are the ones who designs the solution, designs the database, but a SQL developer is the one who implements it. Uh, Joseph asks, which SQL worksheet are you using? Live SQL. I don't know about worksheet, but I use Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, and I use the T-SQL language. Can you please tell me SQL developer environment in Office, because I heard like there will be dev QA prod. Please explain. Yes, so production. So every application will have a production environment, which is basically the live environment. Now, production is as it is used connected by the users, as it is being used by the users. It is a very critical environment. So we don't try to mess around with it. So what we do is we make our changes in a lot of other lower environments before pushing anything to production. Just that we can test it thoroughly over and over again, just to make sure that our change is not impacting anything else. Okay, so to make sure of that, what we do is we uh, have these development environment, QA environment, staging environment, and so on. Okay, and ultimately we push it to production. Okay, the change that we made. So yeah, that is all about environments. I mean, just in brief, obviously. Joseph asks, can we have the recording of this video? Joseph, I think there'll be someone who will join the call right after I leave, or at the end of the session, and you can ask them how are you going to get the recording of the video. Let me see if I've missed a few questions. Da-da-da. Sorry, I know I have skipped a lot of questions in between. Oh, that's a huge question. I'll take one from Parimal. Oh, sorry. I have 7+ years experience. Started as a tester, for SQL, and then server manager, and then SQL. Oh, that's a big question, but I'm afraid it's not fitting in my window. I'm sorry for that. Um, Let me just go up again. I think I have already. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I see it. I have 7 years DBA. There's not much DBA work because we have in-house productions. Work on data processing, analysis, optimization, and creation. Now I wanted to know. Go for next. Don't know where to start with SSIS or SSRS or SSAS. Uh, Parimal, I would recommend if you have knowledge on SQL, make sure you brush up your skills on SQL. Okay, parallelly start with SSIS and RS. Okay, because this hybrid role has a lot of demand these days, wherein you are well versed with SQL, SSIS, and RS. Okay, and after that, again, it's up to you. Okay, based on how much time you have, what role you want to move into, you can move. But I would say to give it a good start, I would say SQL, SSIS, RS, and then move into something else. Uh, this is a general question from Mayur. Is there any value for a new technology that you have learned on your own and have no production experience or certification for? Say you worked in a support project before but want to get into full-fledged development. Will companies be interested? Huh, that's an interesting question. See, you build a rocket and you are not able to sell it, no one will buy it. Okay, you build a paper boat. If you're able to market it well, people will buy it. As simple as that. If you are able to convince, it's not the technology that you are selling. Okay, to be very honest, no one is going to buy a technology. Why be a company interested in paying money to just train you on a technology? Don't try to sell your idea, or don't try to sell the fact that you are trying to learn something. Sell the idea that you are trying to build something for the company. Now, in the background, you put fancy technologies that you want to learn. Okay, no one cares, but put it as a package so that the company likes it, so that the company funds it. Okay, and trust me, it'll work out a lot better. And this is from my own experience. Okay. All right. I would say that is all that I had. Let me just give a quick call. I have to get someone in here. Just a moment.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dinesh, for the great session. I'm Aditya. I'll take it from here. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. You're there? Okay. I was thinking to call Abhinash because he asked me to call. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. I know it was in a bit of a hurry, but I hope you liked interacting. Uh, Reach out to our team whenever you have any questions or if you want to pursue further. And trust me, anything that you learn, okay, not only SQL, anything that you learn, two takeaways. Anything that you learn, not only SQL, is definitely going to help you. Second thing, whenever you're rejected in an interview, it is not always your fault. Okay. Till then, have a great evening and a great rest of your day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in today. It was, I hope, a very informative session for you. So before we part, I would just like to let you know that whatever that was discussed in this today's session, it's somewhat like how our online classes are conducted, where we take everything from scratch. So as my trainer pointed out, you'll be having live sessions where we'll be covering each of these courses: SQL certification for the development part, for the database administration part, for SSRS, SSIS, as he mentioned earlier. So we have the course as well. So it is conducted in a similar fashion on the GoToMeeting platform every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We also have a weekday batch, which is Tuesday to Friday, which you can look towards. And it will be an interactive session. You can ask your doubts. It will be where you can speak as well. Today you guys were just putting in the questions, but in the live sessions it will be an open chat. So you can ask your queries, and that way you can have a much more interesting session where you can understand each of these concepts, and you can also have access to the database like he was showing you today on his system. So you'll be having access to that. You will be installing it. You will be working on the integrated development environment, creating these servers so that you can implement everything. So we conduct this training, as I said earlier, over the weekends, and it covers from the basics to advanced. So if you have any questions, you can put them up here, and I'll be happy to answer them as well. So I'm checking the questions that are there. Udit Gandhi is asking Power BI. Yes, Udit, we do conduct the training for Power BI as well. So again, for learning Power BI, you can definitely first learn SQL, because you'll be working with databases, Excel sheets, CSV files, a lot of databases, uh, big data as well. So under this Power BI training, we do cover that. But if you have some background knowledge on SQL queries, especially transact SQL queries, it will help a lot, because many companies are right now using SQL databases. Azure is, growing very fast in the market, and mid-level companies are using SQL databases for their production and everything. If you guys want to proceed with the training, if you're looking at the cost, obviously there are upcoming batches with which you can start. Dinesh is probably going to start a new batch, so you can register for the classes through the website. Promotional offers are also available. You can get in touch with me as well if you are looking for the classes. I'll just put up my here in the chat, so that if you want, you can get in touch with me. If you have a specific career plan, then I can guide you with that. And I have put it up on the screen as well, so you can reach out to me directly and I can help out. In the meantime, if you are putting in the questions, then I can help you on that as well. So Srinivas has asked, in one of the interview, they asked, what is your database size? What is your daily transaction? What should we answer? So Srinivas, when like Intellipaat helps with your resume preparation. So after you have completed your training with us, we'll be guiding you with that. So when you're putting up these projects, it will be mentioned what kind of projects you have worked upon, what was the training data set that you were using, so that when these interview questions are asked, those are based on your understanding and what you have worked upon. As my trainer was explaining earlier, right? So obviously everyone is not looking for someone who's incredibly good in SQL, but they are looking for people who are ready to learn and who can work with SQL, who are ready to explore, understand the data more, and then they can grow in the company. So obviously it is not possible for everyone to have 9 years of experience working on SQL to get these kind of jobs. And if companies were looking for only such people, then there will be a very big gap between the demand which is there and the supply which is there, because not everyone has that kind of experience. So every company, they hire for different kinds of people which make up the team, as my trainer was explaining. So you should also first plan for the first decide which course you want to go for, in which direction you want to invest the time, and then the resources are available. You can definitely get in touch. If Power BI is something, as Udit was asking, it interests you, then you can go for that. We can help you step by step. and then you can do some more projects as well. So we Intellipaat, we provide lifetime access, so you can start a new batch, you can fine tune your performance, you can work more, you can attend more such interview sessions like these on Intellipaat YouTube channel. Someone was asking where you can, access these videos. So we have it live on our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe, so that every week we are coming out with videos on different technologies. Today's was on SQL. In the coming weeks we'll have on web development as well. So you can go ahead and check out these videos, see which interests you, and then you can decide where you should invest your time, because that is what in the end will give you the returns. If you guys have any further questions, you can put them in the chat. So we conduct the training on SQL and SQL DBA as well. So if you guys want, you can log on to the website. The chat window will be there. You can drop in, you can speak with them. They can share with you the links for the exact course that you're looking for by just visiting the homepage. That also you can do, or you can just go and search SQL, and that will show you all the courses that are relevant and which are available in this domain. So we cover SQL DBA, we cover SQL administration. We cover MSBI and SQL as well. I was just checking whether anyone has asked any further question. Guys, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. I'll just come back to you and help you on that. So again, we'll help you with the complete training through the trainers who are currently working, who are having good experience, and then we will also help you with your resume. So that part someone was asking. So you can forward your resume to our platform. My support team is there. They will help you with the resume. They will update it for you. Projects that we are covering, the data sets that we are using, those will be included in your resume, so that you can then use them. And when interviews are conducted, you are able to answer questions which are included in your resume, which in the end helps you. Once the training is conducted, this training, it is delivered in collaboration with Microsoft. So you also get Microsoft online course material, which you can go ahead and check in the website. The course curriculum page is there. Microsoft course study material is available, which is provided, and then you complete the course completion exam to gain the certificate as well. So this will also be included in your resume. So this will also add when you're looking for opportunities. We'll be marketing your resume as well. Intellipaat has been conducting training since 2011. So we have hiring partners and corporate partners where my trainers like Dinesh, they have conducted corporate trainings. So we'll be helping you out in that regard as well. Job assistance is included as a part of the program. So guys, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you require any assistance. Our websites are live 24/7. You can just drop in, and you can share your email, and my team can revert back, send you the details of the courses. If you have any specific query, you want to reach out to us and speak to us, then my course consultants are available. You can directly connect with them. So you can also connect with me directly on the number and the email ID that is in front of your screen. Hope to see you in the next session. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can attend a similar kind of an informative session tomorrow on a new topic, on a new technology which is currently very much in demand, so that you can learn, you can evaluate what is right for you, and then you can invest in that particular stream. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.